The register beeps. Aaliyah steps forward, bag in hand, her phone already awake with the receipt pulled up. Darren stands behind the counter, arms crossed, eyes flicking from her hoodie to her face and back. He doesn't greet her. He just waits. She sets the bag down gently. "I'd like to return this, please." Her voice is steady, polite. He looks past her, scanning the line, then back. "Receipt?" His tone is flat, practiced. She holds up her phone, the screen bright with the order. "Confirmation. It's digital. I can email it if you need." He doesn't lean in. He doesn't even look at the screen. "We only take printed receipts for returns." His words are clipped, final. The woman behind Aaliyah sighs, shifting her purse on her shoulder. A child tugs at his mother's coat, eyes wide, watching. Aaliyah glances at the sign on the wall. "Digital receipts accepted." She points. "Your policy says digital is fine." Darren's lips press together. For most items, not clearance, he doesn't check the tag. He doesn't check the policy. The cashier at the next register glances over, then quickly looks away, tapping at her keyboard. Aaliyah's grip tightens on her phone. "I bought it full price. Here's the email." She tries again, her voice quieter. Darren shakes his head. "That's not how we do things here." He turns to adjust a stack of flyers, dismissing her without another word. Aaliyah stands her ground, letting the pause stretch. "Is there someone else I can speak to?" Darren's jaw clenches. "I'm the manager." The line behind her grows restless. A man coughs. No one steps forward. She picks up her bag, her face unreadable. "Thank you for your time." Aaliyah turns and walks out, the security camera blinking above. Darren exhales, shoulders loosening, but he doesn't watch her go. The next customer steps up, and the moment is already being forgotten by everyone but her. Before the story continues, please let us know from where you are watching this video. Write your city or country in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you believe in stories that challenge injustice. Your engagement gives power to voices that need to be heard. Darren stands behind the counter tapping a laminated sign with his finger. "See? Store policy. Returns require a printed receipt." His words are calm, but there's a challenge in his eyes. The sign is crisp, the letters bold, but Aaliyah notices the fine print underneath "digital receipts accepted." She points to it, her voice even. "It says right here, digital is allowed." He doesn't bother to look. "That's not how we handle it, not for this kind of purchase." He folds his arms, posture rigid, a faint curl at the corner of his mouth. The cashier beside him glances over, her hand pausing above the register. She looks away quickly, tapping keys, pretending not to hear. Aaliyah's phone screen glows in her palm, the receipt clear. She holds it up again, but Darren's focus never shifts. "It's standard practice," he says, voice growing firmer. "We make exceptions for some things, not all." The line behind Aaliyah grows tense. A woman in a red scarf mutters, "Every time," under her breath, but doesn't meet anyone's gaze. Aaliyah breathes in, steadying herself. "I just want to follow the rules." Darren's eyes narrow. "Rules are rules. I don't write them." His finger traces the edge of the sign, a small repetitive motion. The security guard by the entrance watches, arms crossed, gaze fixed on Aaliyah. The air grows heavier. Aaliyah glances at the posted return policy again, then at Darren, searching for any sign of fairness. There's none. The cashier bites her lip, glancing at Aaliyah, then back at her screen. The guard shifts his weight, keys jingling at his belt. Aaliyah lowers her phone, her shoulders set. "Thank you for your time." Her words are soft, but her eyes linger on the sign as she turns away. Darren straightens the sign, making sure it faces forward. The counter feels colder, the room quieter, the line moving forward as if nothing happened. But the rules, and who they protect, are clearer than ever. The line behind Aaliyah grows restless, shoes scuffing against the tiles. A mother squeezes her daughter's hand, pulling her closer, eyes flicking from Darren to Aaliyah and back. She whispers, Just wait, honey. Voice barely audible. The cashier at the next register glances up, her hand hovering over the keys, then quickly looks down, pretending to check a receipt. A man in a navy jacket checks his watch, sighs, and shifts his weight. He catches Aaliyah's eye for a split second, then looks away, his jaw tight. The woman in the red scarf from earlier mutters, "Always a problem," to no one in particular. Her tone sharp, but quiet. No one responds. Darren clears his throat, tapping the counter twice. "Next, please." His words hang in the air, but no one steps forward. The mother in line glances at her phone, scrolling through messages, avoiding the scene unfolding right in front of her. The cashier's fingers tremble as she bags an item, the plastic crinkling louder than usual. Aaliyah stands still, her shoulders squared. She doesn't move, doesn't speak. The people in line avoid her gaze, their discomfort thick and unspoken. The security guard near the door shifts his stance, eyes darting between Darren and the growing line. A teenage boy near the back leans over to his friend, whispering, "Why's it always like this?" His friend shrugs, eyes fixed on the floor. The tension in the air is heavy, pressing down on everyone, but no one breaks the pattern. No one intervenes. Aaliyah finally steps aside, letting the next customer approach. The line moves forward, but the atmosphere stays tense, every person carrying a piece of the moment with them. The register beeps, the cashier forces a smile, and the routine resumes. But nothing feels normal. Aaliyah doesn't flinch. She stands steady, her eyes locked on Darren's, refusing to look away. The store's noise fades. A distant hum of bags rustling, the faint ring of a phone at the customer service desk. Darren leans in, lowering his voice so only she can hear. "You people always try to work the system." Her jaw tightens, but she doesn't respond. She lets the words hang, lets him see that she's not rattled. The cashier 2 registers down, glances over, her lips pressed together, knuckles white as she counts change. The security guard shifts again, a subtle shuffle of feet, uncertain whether to step closer or stay put. Darren waits for a reaction, any sign of anger or frustration. He gets none. Aaliyah's gaze is unwavering, her silence louder than any outburst. The woman in the red scarf, now at the front of the line, watches, her mouth slightly open as if to speak, but she says nothing. Aaliyah finally speaks, voice calm and measured. "I followed every rule. I just want fairness." Darren's expression falters, a flicker of doubt passing through his eyes. He straightens, clearing his throat, but the authority in his posture is thinner now. The cashier at the next register drops a coin, the clang echoing in the quiet. She bends to pick it up, her hands shaking. The mother and daughter from earlier are silent, the girl peeking around her mother's coat, watching Aaliyah with wide eyes. Aaliyah doesn't move, doesn't lower her gaze. The moment stretches, the power shifting in small, invisible ways. Darren looks away first, glancing at the receipt printer as if searching for an escape. Aaliyah's dignity stands untouched, her restraint a quiet rebuke that unsettles everyone watching. Aaliyah lifts her bag, her steps slow and deliberate as she heads for the exit. The security camera's red light flickers above the door, catching the moment. Darren watches her go, his posture stiff, lips pressed in a thin line. The line at the counter inches forward, but the usual chatter is gone, replaced by a heavy quiet. The cashier at the next register glances up, then quickly returns. To scanning items, her movements jerky. The mother and daughter step aside, letting Aaliyah pass. The girl looks up at her, eyes wide, but Aaliyah offers only a brief, steady nod before pushing open the door. Outside, the cold air hits her face. She pauses, glancing back through the glass. Darren stands behind the counter, shoulders squared, but his eyes flick to the security camera, then to the empty space where Aaliyah stood. He runs a hand over his hair, uncertain, unsettled. Aaliyah's phone buzzes in her pocket. She pulls it out, the screen lighting up with a notification. "How was your experience?" She doesn't answer. Instead, she takes a slow breath, feeling the weight of what just happened settle in her chest. Inside, the cashier wipes her hands on her apron, her face pale. The security guard moves closer to the counter, his gaze following Darren, who now busies himself with a stack of receipts, avoiding everyone's eyes. The line moves forward, but the mood has shifted. The routine feels hollow, the air heavier. Aaliyah stands outside for a moment longer, her reflection caught in the glass. She straightens her shoulders, resolve hardening. The camera has captured everything, the refusal, the dignity, the moment that won't be erased. She turns away, ready for what comes next, the world about to learn her story. The bell above the convenience store door jingles as 14-year-old Aaliyah steps inside, hands shoved deep in her jacket pockets. The clerk behind the counter glances up, his gaze lingering a moment too long before he grabs a box of candy bars and begins to rearrange them on a shelf near her. Aaliyah moves slowly down the aisle, her sneakers squeaking on the linoleum. She keeps her hands visible, fingers brushing the seams of her jeans. The clerk edges closer, pretending to organize gum packs, his eyes never leaving her. Aaliyah pauses at the fridge, peering in at the rows of juice. She feels the clerk's presence behind her, the quiet pressure of being watched. She glances back, meeting his eyes for a heartbeat. He looks away, but only for a second. A man in a suit enters, nods at the clerk, and heads straight to the counter. The clerk's posture relaxes for him, voice suddenly warm. "Morning, Mr. Evans. The usual?" Aaliyah closes the fridge, heart pounding. She leaves the juice untouched. She walks toward the exit, the clerk trailing her, a pack of gum in his hand. "Anything I can help you with?" His tone is light, but his eyes are sharp. Aaliyah shakes her head. "No, I'm good." She pushes open the door, the bell ringing again. As she steps onto the sidewalk, she feels the clerk's stare, burning into her back. The memory sticks with her, a cold knot in her stomach every time she enters a store. She learned early to keep her hands in sight, her movements slow, her voice soft. The lesson was clear. Being seen meant being suspected, and being suspected meant never really belonging. Darren sits in his cramped office, the hum of the old computer filling the space. He scrolls through his inbox, eyes skimming over subject lines. Concern about staff treatment, uncomfortable experience, follow-up on earlier complaint. He clicks one, barely reading the words. I felt watched, not welcomed, before dragging it to a folder marked Resolved. The folder is thick, dozens of messages buried inside. He prints a few for the record, the printer stuttering as it spits out pages. He stamps each one with a red Completed and tosses them into a drawer, never bothering to reply. The drawer sticks, overstuffed. He shoves it closed, the metal scraping. A knock at the door. The HR assistant pokes her head in, holding a stack of new applications. Do you want me to file these? Her voice is hesitant. Darren waves her off. Just leave them. I'll handle it. She places the papers on the edge of his desk, her eyes lingering on the drawer for a moment before she leaves. Darren leans back, rubbing his temples. He remembers one email in particular, a customer describing how her son was followed through the store. He deletes it without a second thought. People complain about everything, he mutters, tossing another paper into the pile. The office feels smaller, the air stale. He glances at the wall calendar, days marked off in thick pen. The phone rings, but he lets it go to voicemail. Outside, laughter drifts in from the break room, but here, the only sound is the shuffle of paper, the quiet burial of stories that never reach daylight. He locks the drawer, pocketing the key. Another complaint arrives, the notification ping echoing, in the silence. He doesn't open it. The folder grows, the voices trapped inside, waiting for someone to actually listen. Afternoon sunlight glints off the spotless glass storefront, mannequins dressed in crisp new arrivals. Inside, regulars chat with staff, laughter bouncing off polished tile. A white woman steps up to the counter, holding a dress with no tag. The cashier greets her by name, smiling wide. No receipt? No problem, Ms. Carter. We'll look it up. For you. In the corner, a black man hesitates at the entrance, scanning the displays. The security guard's radio crackles. Check Section 3. The guard nods, drifting casually toward the man, pretending to straighten a rack of shirts. The man glances at the guard, then at the exit, and quietly leaves without shopping. A group of teens enters, voices bright. The manager, Darren, stands near the fitting rooms, clipboard in hand. He offers a nod to a familiar customer, but his gaze sharpens when a young black girl lingers by the sneakers. He watches her reflection in the mirror, not the shoes. A staff member, Kayla, folds sweaters at a table. She glances up, notices the pattern. She starts to say something, then bites her lip, turning back to her work. Near the cash register, a man in a suit jokes with the cashier, who laughs a little too loudly. The guard's eyes never leave the front of the store. The store's reputation is exclusive. Regulars whisper about the VIP treatment. New faces, especially those with darker skin, are met with polite distance or extra attention. The return policy, so flexible for some, is rigid for others. Darren's voice floats over the hum. Let's keep the floor looking sharp. His tone is pleasant, but Kayla hears the warning underneath. She folds another sweater, her hands moving faster. The store looks perfect from the outside, but inside, the cracks are visible to anyone willing to see. Marcus sits at the break room table, pen hovering over the resignation form. He glances at his reflection in the vending machine, then back at the paper. The words don't come easily. Finally, he writes, "I was a body, not a person here." The ink smudges as his hand trembles. He signs his name, presses the letter, flat, and slides it into an envelope. He stands, shoulders tight, and walks to Darren's office. The door is ajar. Darren looks up, barely making eye contact. "What's this?" Marcus sets the envelope on the desk. "I'm done." Darren shrugs, reaching for a stack of schedules. "If you say so. Good luck." There's no handshake, no thanks, just the scrape of a chair as Marcus turns to leave. In the hallway, Kayla leans against a locker, arms crossed. She offers a small nod. "You out?" Marcus nods back, voice low. "Yeah. Couldn't take it anymore." She squeezes his shoulder, her grip firm. "You did what you had to do." Marcus passes his old locker. The sticker of a raised fist still clings to the door, edges peeling. He runs his thumb over it, then grabs his jacket and heads. Outside in the staff group chat, his letter appears, a photo snapped by Kayla. "I was a body, not a person here." Reactions flood in. Sad faces, a few hearts, one silent thumbs up. Darren tosses the envelope in his drawer, not bothering to read the letter. He turns back to his computer, already moving on. But Kayla stares at her phone, rereading Marcus's words. The break room feels emptier, the air heavier. For those left behind, the message is clear. Some stories end quietly, but they don't disappear. Mrs. Walker storms to the counter, her son trailing behind, head bowed. She slams a baseball cap onto the counter, voice trembling. "You accused my child of stealing for touching this?" Darren barely looks up, his expression unreadable. "Ma'am, we have to be careful. It's store policy to check." Her son stands silent, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes fixed on the floor. The cashier glances at him, then at Mrs. Walker, her mouth pressed in a thin line. Mrs. Walker's voice cracks. "He was just looking. You called security on a child." Darren sighs, reaching for a coupon from beneath the register. "Here's a discount for the trouble." Mrs. Walker pushes it back. "I don't want your coupon, I want respect." The line behind them grows, customers shifting, some watching, others pretending to scroll their phones. The security guard lingers nearby, arms folded, gaze steady on the boy. Darren's tone is clipped. "We treat everyone the same." Mrs. Walker's laugh is sharp, bitter. "No, you don't. I see who gets followed and who gets a smile." Her son's shoulders hunch tighter. The cashier's hands tremble as she bags a shirt for the next customer. Mrs. Walker gathers her son close, her voice softer now. leaving. She takes his hand, guiding him toward the door. The boy glances back once, meeting the cashier's eyes. She offers a small, apologetic nod, but says nothing. Darren types something into the computer, labeling the incident customer dissatisfaction. The coupon sits on the counter, untouched. The guard returns to his post. The line moves forward, but the tension lingers. Mrs. Walker's words echo in the minds of those who heard. Some wounds don't heal with discounts, and some lessons aren't easily forgotten. Aaliyah sits at her desk, laptop open, headphones on. She clicks through security footage, eyes narrowing as the scenes unfold. A black teenager enters the store, hands in his pockets. A staff member trails him, pretending to tidy displays, glancing over her shoulder every few seconds. The boy browses, never touching a thing, then leaves. The staff member relaxes, returning to the register. Next clip, a white woman in a bright coat walks in, greeted with a cheerful wave. The staff member offers her a basket, chatting about the weather. She tries on sunglasses, leaves them on a shelf, and nobody follows her. The difference is stark. Aaliyah scrolls through timestamps. Another black customer, this time a young woman, is shadowed by the security guard, who circles the aisle with slow, deliberate steps. She picks up a scarf, hesitates, and puts it back. The guard's radio crackles, but he never leaves her side. Aaliyah's jaw tightens. She saves the clips, labeling each with the date and time. She notices Kayla, the cashier, glancing at the camera, her expression uneasy. In one video, Kayla quietly greets a black customer, only to be called aside by Darren, who gestures toward the back office. Kayla's shoulders tense as she returns to her register. The footage forms a pattern, undeniable and chilling. Black customers watched, white customers welcomed. Aaliyah leans back, heart pounding, realizing she's not alone in what she felt. She presses export, the files filling a folder on her desktop. She removes her headphones, the room suddenly, too, quiet. The evidence is clear, each clip a silent witness. The store's routine is exposed, not by words, but by the steady, unblinking eye of the camera. Aaliyah knows what she has to do next. Aaliyah's hands tremble as she holds her phone, thumb hovering over the post button. The folder of video clips sits open on her screen, each file a silent record of what's been happening. She types a caption, "This isn't new, it's just finally on camera." She hesitates, reading it twice, then taps to upload. Within seconds, notifications flicker across her screen. Comments pour in. "That's my old store." "Same thing happened to me." "They always follow us." Aaliyah scrolls, heart racing, watching the numbers climb. Her phone vibrates with every like, every share, every angry emoji. Across town, Darren's phone buzzes on his desk. He frowns, swiping through messages from staff. "Have you seen this?" one asks. Another. "We're all over social media." Darren's jaw clenched as he watches the video, his own voice faint in the background, denying a return. Kayla texts Aaliyah, "You were brave. I wish I'd said something." Aaliyah replies, "It's not too late." Kayla's typing bubble appears then disappears. The cashier from the footage DMs her too, a simple, "I'm sorry." Aaliyah's mom peeks into her room. "What's going on?" Aaliyah just hands her the phone. Her mom reads, eyes widening. "You did the right thing," she whispers, hugging her tight. The notifications keep coming. Aaliyah's story spreads, picked up by local news. Her inbox fills with messages from strangers, some sharing their own stories, others just offering support. She sits on her bed, knees pulled to her chest, overwhelmed but determined. The videos are out now. The truth can't be buried in a drawer or ignored in a crowded store. Aaliyah's hands finally steady as she sets her phone down, knowing this moment is bigger than her fear. The break room is small, the hum of the refrigerator the only background noise. Employees gather in clusters, voices low, eyes darting toward the closed office door where Darren sits. Kayla leans against the counter, her fingers nervously twisting the edge of her name tag. She glances at Marcus, who shifts uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact. "Did you see the posts?" whispers one cashier, her voice barely above a breath. Another nods, biting her lip, the weight of unspoken truths heavy in the air. The usual chatter is replaced by a quiet tension, a shared understanding that things are changing. Aaliyah's name is spoken in hushed tones, a symbol of courage and challenge. The staff exchange furtive glances, some hopeful, others fearful. The security guard stands near the door, arms crossed, his gaze flickering between the group and the manager's office. A young employee clears her throat, breaking the silence. "I never thought it would get this far," she says softly. "But maybe it's time." Kayla nods, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "We can't keep pretending it's not happening." The cashier at the register wipes her palms on her apron, eyes downcast. "I wanted to say something before, but I was scared." Outside, the store's usual buzz continues, but inside, the break room feels like a turning point. The staff's quiet. Unease is the first crack in the facade, the beginning of a collective reckoning. The door to Darren's office opens slightly, a shadow of movement. The group falls silent, the moment suspended between fear and hope. The camera lingers on Kayla's clenched fists, then shifts to the security guard's watchful eyes. The scene fades with the unspoken promise of change. Stacks of paper crowd Ethan Shaw's desk, each one marked with dates, names, and clipped headlines. He sits hunched over a notebook, red pen in hand, drawing lines between complaints, resignation, letters, and printed screenshots of Aaliyah's viral post. The room is quiet except for the scratch of his pen and the occasional buzz of his phone. He reads aloud, voice low. Pattern of exclusion, repeated complaints, management response, minimal. He circles a paragraph from Marcus's resignation letter, then draws a line to a customer's email. Followed, for no reason, he pins a photo of Darren to the corkboard, connecting it to the store's logo, and a printout of Aaliyah's campaign image. Ethan's editor calls. "You have enough for a story?" Ethan nods, eyes never leaving the board. "It's bigger than one incident. It's a system." The editor exhales. "Make it airtight. No room for doubt." He reviews footage again, pausing on Kayla's uneasy glance at the camera, the security guard's slow walk behind a customer, the manager's dismissive wave. He jots down body language, avoidance, discomfort, complicity. He highlights a message from a staff member. "We all knew. No one spoke up." Ethan's phone buzzes with a new tip. "Check the hiring records." He adds another note, the web of connections growing. He pulls up the brand's diversity statement, reading it with a skeptical frown. "Words on paper," he mutters, "but who's living them?" He leans back, surveying the evidence. The story is clear. Not a single bad actor, but a culture of looking away, of quiet decisions that add up to harm. He starts typing. Headline glowing on the screen. "When policy masks prejudice." The truth is no longer hidden. It's ready for the world to see. The mall's giant billboard blazes with light. Aaliyah's face larger than life. Her smile is fierce, eyes full of quiet strength. Shoppers pause, some pointing, others snapping photos. Darren sits on a bench. Nearby, coffee forgotten, his hands clenched into fists. A woman nearby nudges her friend, whispering, "That's the girl from the news." The friend nods, eyes wide. Darren's gaze flickers to the screen, then away, jaw tight. His phone buzzes repeatedly in his pocket, ignored. A staff member passes by Darren, offering a tentative smile. He barely acknowledges it, staring down at the cracked pavement. The weight of the campaign ad presses on him, a silent accusation. Inside, the store, employees gather around a small screen, watching the ad loop. Kayla's eyes shine with hope. Marcus leans forward, a small smile breaking through. The cashier from before wipes a tear discreetly. Darren's breath catches as a customer approaches, asking about the campaign. He stammers, voice low, It's part of the brand's new direction. The customer nods, satisfied. But Darren's shoulders slump. Outside, the billboard's glow reflects in Darren's eyes, a harsh light exposing cracks in his confidence. The store's usual hum feels distant, replaced by a heavy stillness. The tagline flashes, "For everyone, everywhere." Darren's lips press into a thin line. The world is changing, and he's left behind. Darren's phone vibrates non-stop, the screen lighting up with notifications. Instagram is flooded comments, tags, and angry emojis piling onto the store's latest post. "Do better. We see you. Let Aaliyah return." Yelp reviews multiply, each one recounting a story, each rating lower than the last. He scrolls, jaw clenched, reading, "Staff followed me for no reason. Manager rude and dismissive. Never shopping here again." In the break room, Kayla stares at her phone, thumb hovering over the share button. She finally reposts Aaliyah's video, adding, "We all saw it. It's time for change." Marcus replies with a fist emoji, his first public stand. The cashier from the day of the return quietly likes both posts, her hands shaking as she sets her phone down. Customers at the counter whisper, showing each other their screens. One teen laughs, "It's everywhere now." The security guard scrolls through Twitter, frowning at the trending hashtag. Even the regional manager's inbox overflows with subject lines demanding answers. Darren tries to post a statement, but every word feels empty. He deletes it, then types again, only to be drowned out by hundreds of replies. Too late. We remember. The store's official account is tagged in stories from all over the city, each one a piece of the growing storm. Aaliyah's inbox fills with messages of support and shared pain. Her mom reads them aloud, voice trembling, pride and anger mingling. "You started something," she says, hugging Aaliyah close. Darren sits at his desk, the noise of the internet relentless. He closes his laptop, but the buzz doesn't stop. The world outside the store is watching, and for the first time, he can't control what they see. The phone rings sharply in Darren's quiet office. He answers, voice cautious. "Yes." The voice on the other end is firm, unyielding. "You've put us all at risk. Your actions have consequences." Darren's hand tightens around the receiver, knuckles pale. He glances at the desk plant, leaves drooping, a silent witness to his unraveling. The regional director's words echo in his mind. "We stand with Aaliyah Brooks." The campaign video plays on the break room TV, her voice steady and clear. Accountability isn't optional. Staff gather around the screen, clapping softly, a sound Darren hasn't heard in a long time. Kayla's eyes shine with hope. Marcus nods in quiet approval. The cashier wipes a tear discreetly, her hands trembling less than before. Darren lowers the phone, his breath shallow. The weight of the call settles over him like a shadow. He looks around the office, the walls closing in. The desk, once a throne, now feels like a cage. He tries to speak, but the words catch in his throat. The silence is heavy, filled with the unspoken truth that his time here is ending. The plant's leaves seem to wilt further, mirroring his fading control. Outside, the store hums with renewed energy. The brand's message of inclusion pulses through the speakers. Aaliyah's image smiles from every corner, a beacon of change. Darren's chair creaks as he leans back, eyes closing briefly. Zing. The call ends, but the consequences ripple outward, a quiet storm reshaping the store's future. The click of polished shoes echoes down the aisle, slicing through the usual background music. Employees pause mid-task, glancing up as the regional director enters, her expression unreadable. Darren straightens his tie, smoothing his shirt with a shaky hand. He forces a smile, but his eyes dart to the staff clustered near the fitting rooms. Kayla nudges Marcus, whispering, "She's here." Marcus nods, his jaw set, eyes not leaving the director as she surveys the floor. The cashier at the front, counter stiffens, hands hovering above the register, waiting for a signal. The director's gaze sweeps the store, pausing on Aaliyah's campaign poster by the entrance. She nods once, then turns to Darren. "Let's talk." she says quietly, but everyone hears. Darren's throat tightens. He gestures toward his office, but she shakes her head. Here is fine. Staff gather, the usual chatter replaced by a tense hush. The security guard stands by the door, posture alert. Customers sense the shift, some drifting closer, others pretending to browse while listening in. Darren clears his throat. Welcome. We're glad you could visit. The director's eyes don't soften. I'm not here for pleasantries. Her voice is calm, but the authority in it is unmistakable. Kayla exchanges a glance with the cashier, who bites her lip, shoulders tense. The director's presence changes the air. The staff stand taller, some hopeful, others wary. Darren's hands fidget with the edge of a display sign, the corners digging, into his palm. The moment stretches, heavy with expectation. The director looks at each staff member in turn, her gaze steady. It's time for answers, she says. The store is silent, waiting for what comes next. The automatic doors slide open, and Aaliyah steps inside, flanked by a pair of brand representatives. Cameras flash, the bright lights bouncing off her calm expression. Her image, already on every poster in the store, now moves through the aisles in real life. Customers pause mid-conversation, some whispering, others pulling out their phones to record. Darren's jaw tightens as he sees her approach. He forces a nod, but his grip on the counter betrays him. Knuckles pale, the regional director stands nearby, arms folded, watching every move. Staff members straighten their uniforms, some smiling nervously, others unsure where to look. Kayla catches Aaliyah's eye and offers a small, genuine smile. Aaliyah nods back, her presence steady, unhurried. The cashier from before stands frozen, receipt in hand, eyes wide as she recognizes the girl from the viral video. The brand rep leans in, voice low but clear. We're honored to have you here, Aaliyah. She thanks them quietly, her words measured. I'm just here to see how things are changing. The cameras catch every word, every glance, every shift in the room's energy. Darren steps forward, trying to regain control. Welcome back, Ms. Brooks. His tone is forced, brittle. Aaliyah meets his gaze, her voice even. Thank you. I hope today feels different for everyone. The staff exchange glances, tension giving way to a cautious hope. The regional director nods, signaling for the group to gather. The security guard moves aside, allowing the crowd to form around Aaliyah. The store feels transformed, the old power dynamic upended. Aaliyah stands at the center, not just as a customer, but as a symbol. The spotlight isn't just on her, it's on everyone, and no one can look away. Darren steps forward, his hand extended, but there's a tremor he can't hide. Welcome back, Ms. Brooks, he says, forcing a smile that never quite reaches his eyes. Aaliyah accepts the handshake, her grip steady, gaze unwavering. Around them, staff watch closely, picking up on every detail. Kayla stands near the fitting rooms, arms crossed, her brow furrowed in concern. The cashier who once avoided. Aaliyah now looks on, biting her lip, unsure whether to smile or apologize. Marcus lingers by a display, pretending to organize shirts but really listening, his posture tense. The regional director observes it all, arms folded, eyes sharp. She notes Darren's shaky voice, the way he avoids meeting Aaliyah's eyes for more than a second. Thank you for having me, Aaliyah says, her tone calm, no trace of sarcasm. I'm here to see how things have changed. Darren nods, swallowing hard. We value your feedback. His words sound rehearsed, hollow. The staff exchange glances, some hopeful, some skeptical. The security guard shifts his stance, glancing between Darren and Aaliyah, sensing the shift. In authority, a customer, noticing the gathering, whispers to her friend, "That's the girl from the videos." The friend nods, watching the handshake, the tension in the air palpable. Aaliyah releases Darren's hand, her expression unreadable. Let's see what's next, she says quietly. The regional director gestures for everyone to move closer, her presence anchoring the group. The moment lingers, the handshake a symbol of everything that's changed and everything still left to do. Darren steps back, his confidence clearly shaken. The staff look to Aaliyah now, not him, and the balance of power quietly shifts. The regional director leads the staff into the stockroom, her voice calm but firm. "Let's talk honestly," she says, closing the door behind her. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting a harsh glow on tired faces. Darren stands near the back, arms crossed, trying to look unfazed, but his foot taps restlessly against the floor. Kayla is the first to speak. "I've seen customers treated differently. I tried to say something, but—" She glances at Darren, her words trailing off. The cashier nods, voice barely above a whisper. "Sometimes I was told to watch certain people more closely. It never felt right." Marcus clears his throat, stepping forward. "I was passed over for a promotion. No reason given." He looks at Darren, who avoids his gaze, staring at a stack of boxes. The security guard shifts uncomfortably, rubbing the back of his neck. "I just did what I was told," he mutters, guilt flickering in his eyes. The regional director listens, jotting notes in her pad. "Thank you for your honesty. This is how things change." Her tone is steady, inviting. "More truth." The atmosphere is tense, but something shifts as more voices join in, each story adding weight to the moment. Darren's jaw tightens, but he says nothing. The staff's words hang in the air, impossible to ignore now. The cashier wipes her palms on her apron, relief and fear mingling in her expression. Kayla stands taller, her voice stronger as she adds, "We need better training, more respect, for everyone." The regional director nods, closing her notebook. "We'll address this, all of it." The staff exchange glances, a mix of hope and uncertainty. Darren looks smaller in the crowded room, the truth pressing in from all sides. The stockroom, once a place of whispers, is now filled with the sound of change. The staff gather at the front of the store, customers drifting nearby, sensing something important. The regional director stands at the center, her voice clear. "We value every customer. Every story matters." Her words cut through the usual noise, drawing every eye. Darren stands beside her, shoulders tense, hands clasped too tightly. Aaliyah faces them, her presence calm. The cameras are rolling, but she doesn't flinch. Darren tries to speak, voice cracking. I didn't realize—" The words sound weak, empty. The cashier glances at Kayla, who gives a small, encouraging nod. Aaliyah's reply is quiet, but firm. "You never asked." She meets Darren's eyes, not with anger, but with the weight of truth. The staff behind her stand a little taller, their confidence growing with every second. The regional director turns to the group. "Things will change, starting now." She signals to a brand rep, who hands out new training materials. Marcus flips through his packet, nodding slowly. The security guard looks at him, a crease forming between his brows. A customer near the register whispers, "About time." The cashier smiles, a real one this time, relief in her eyes. Kayla steps forward, voice steady. "We're ready for better." The staff murmur agreement, the mood shifting. Darren's gaze drops to the floor. He tries to speak again, but the words don't come. The director places a hand on his shoulder, not unkind, but final. "We'll be reviewing your actions." He nods, unable to meet anyone's eyes. Aaliyah stands at the center, not triumphant, just resolute. The room is quiet, the moment heavy with possibility. For the first time, everyone listens. The balance of power has shifted, and justice arrives not with shouting, but with the certainty of being heard. Darren slips into the break room, the door closing with a soft thud behind him. He leans against the counter, breathing shallow, hands pressed flat on the cool surface. The hum of the vending machine is louder than usual. He glances at his reflection in the microwave, door eyes tired, face drawn. He runs a hand over his hair, fingers shaking. From the hallway he hears muffled voices, Kayla laughing, Mark is talking with the cashier, their words indistinct but warm. The sound is foreign, a reminder of how much the atmosphere has changed. Darren sinks into a chair, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor tiles. He tries to compose a message on his phone, but his thumbs hover uselessly above the screen. A notification pops up. Meeting with HR at 3 p.m. He deletes the draft, sets the phone aside, and rubs his temples. The break room clock ticks, each second stretching out. Kayla pokes her head in, pausing when she sees him. "You okay?" she asks, voice neutral. Darren forces a nod, not trusting his voice. She lingers for a moment, then leaves, the door swinging shut behind her. He looks around the empty room, the faded poster on the wall, the stack of untouched coffee cups, the chair Marcus used to sit in. Everything feels unfamiliar. The laughter from the hall grows, filling the space he once controlled. Darren stands, pacing the small room, unable to settle. He grips the back of a chair, knuckles white. The authority he once wore so easily has slipped away, replaced by uncertainty and regret. He sits again, shoulders slumped, listening to the life moving on without him just outside the door. The break room, once his retreat, now feels like exile. He closes his eyes, wishing he could disappear, but the world outside is waiting, and nothing will be the same. Staff gather in the meeting area, chairs pulled into a loose circle. The regional director sits with a notepad, her attention focused on each person. Kayla is the first to speak, voice steady but soft. "I was told not to be too friendly with certain customers. It never felt right." She glances at the others, searching for support. Marcus clears his throat. "I applied for a supervisor position twice, got passed over both times. No explanation, just someone else each time." He shrugs, but the frustration is clear. The cashier, usually quiet, adds, "I was told to call security for things that didn't seem like trouble. I always felt guilty." The security guard shifts in his seat, rubbing his hands together. "Sometimes I was asked to follow people who didn't do anything. I didn't like it, but I did it." He looks down, regret in his eyes. The director nods, jotting notes. "Thank you for your honesty. This is how we move forward." Her tone is encouraging, not judgmental. The staff relax a little, the burden of silence lifting. Kayla sits taller, relieved to be heard. Marcus leans back, arms crossed, a small smile breaking through. The cashier wipes her eyes, blinking away tears. The guard exhales, shoulders loosening. Aaliyah stands at the edge of the group, listening. She meets Kayla's gaze, offering a nod of respect. The staff, once divided by fear and habit, now find common ground in their stories. The regional director closes her notepad. "We'll make things right. Together." The group nods, hope flickering in the room. The walls that once held secrets now echo with truth, and the staff leave the meeting changed, ready to build something better. The staff gather near the front counter, tension thick in the air. The regional director stands with a folder in hand, her voice calm but resolute. "Darren Whitcomb, you are suspended pending investigation." The words land heavily. Darren's shoulders sag, his mouth opening as if to argue, but no sound comes. Kayla exchanges a glance with Marcus, both absorbing the reality of the moment. The cashier covers her mouth, eyes wide. The security guard stands a little straighter, relief flickering across his face. Customers nearby pause, sensing the shift. Some whispering quietly, others simply watching. Darren looks around, searching for support, but finds only averted eyes. He clears his throat, attempting composure. "I understand." His voice is barely audible. The director nods, her tone final. "You'll be contacted by HR. Please gather your things." He steps away from the counter, movement slow, the weight of the announcement settling over him. Kayla's hand finds Marcus's, a quiet squeeze of solidarity. The cashier wipes a tear. The guard nods in silent approval. The director addresses the remaining staff. "We're moving forward. We expect better from everyone." Her words are met with nods, the staff standing a little taller, the atmosphere lighter. Darren retrieves his belongings from the back, each item a reminder of what's lost. He glances at the staff one last time, hoping for a farewell, but receives only polite nods and quiet stares. The door closes behind him, the chapter ending not with noise, but with a quiet, irreversible shift. The store feels different now, the old order replaced by something uncertain, but hopeful. The staff gather, exchanging small smiles, ready to face what comes next. The end of an era is not marked by applause, but by the promise of change. Balloons bob gently above the racks and sunlight pours through the windows as customers and staff gather on the sales floor. Aaliyah stands near the register, her campaign, video looping on every screen. The room buzzes with quiet excitement, the energy lighter than it's been in months. Kayla approaches, offering Aaliyah a bouquet. "You showed us what's possible," she says, voice thick with emotion. Marcus joins them, clapping her on the shoulder. "You made us proud." The cashier, eyes shining, hands Aaliyah a card signed by the whole team. "Thank you for speaking up for all of us." Aaliyah smiles, her gratitude genuine but humble. "I didn't do it alone. You all found your voices too." The regional director steps forward, microphone in hand. "Today we celebrate not just a campaign but a new beginning. This store is changing because you demanded it." Customers cheer, some snapping photos, others simply watching with admiration. A young girl tugs her mother's sleeve, whispering, "That's her." The mother nods, pride in her eyes. The brand rep announces a diversity initiative, promising training and opportunities for everyone. Kayla grins, Marcus laughs, and the cashier hugs Aaliyah, relief and hope mingling in the embrace. Aaliyah looks around, seeing more than just a store. She sees a community, a team, a place where her story sparked something bigger. The music swells, and for a moment, the past feels far away. The celebration isn't loud, but it's real. Laughter and applause fill the space, and the staff stand together, ready for whatever comes next. Aaliyah's quiet triumph is felt by everyone, her dignity and courage lighting the way forward. Darren gathers his belongings in a small box, moving slowly through the empty office. He pauses by the window, watching the staff on the sales floor, Kayla laughing with Marcus, the cashier chatting with a customer, Aaliyah's campaign video glowing on every screen. The sounds of celebration drift faintly through the glass, muffled, but unmistakable. He walks to the front, head down, avoiding eye contact. The security guard nods politely, stepping aside to let him pass. Darren hesitates at the door, glancing back one last time. No one waves. The staff are busy, arranging displays, helping customers, sharing quiet smiles. The world he once controlled has moved on without him. The automatic doors slide open, letting in a rush of fresh air. Darren steps outside, the box heavy in his arms. The doors close behind him with a soft hiss. He stands on the sidewalk, uncertain, watching his reflection in the glass fade as the sun shifts. Inside, the store feels lighter. Kayla straightens a display. Marcus cracks a joke that makes the cashier laugh. The regional director meets Aaliyah's gaze and nods, approval in her eyes. The staff move with purpose, their voices confident, the tension of the past replaced by something warmer. A group of customers enters, greeted with genuine smiles. The music plays a little louder. The brand rep announces a new training session, and the staff gather eagerly, ready to learn, ready to do better. Aaliyah stands near the entrance, watching the team come together. She feels the change in the air, a sense of possibility, of stories rewritten. The store is no longer a place of quiet harm, but a space for new beginnings. The chapter has closed, and a better one is already being written. Darren sits in the corner of a busy cafe, a cup of coffee cooling untouched beside him. He scrolls through his phone, news stories about Aaliyah's campaign and the store's changes filling his feed. Each headline stings, new faces, new policies. Aaliyah Brooks inspires change. His name appears only in comment threads, never in the articles themselves. He glances up as the server passes, but she barely acknowledges him, moving on to another table. A couple nearby recognizes him. The woman leans in, whispering to her partner, eyes flicking in Darren's direction before quickly looking away. Darren shifts in his seat, the isolation pressing in. A notification pops up. Another job rejection. Thank you for your application. He deletes the email, jaw clenched. He remembers when his word was final, when staff scrambled to meet his demands. Now even the cafe manager doesn't look twice at him. His phone buzzes again. An old co-worker's message. Did you see the news? They're making real changes. Darren starts to reply, then stops, fingers hovering over the screen before locking the phone and setting it face down. The cafe's laughter and conversation feel distant, as if he's behind glass. He looks at his reflection in the window, searching for the authority he once carried. All he sees is a man out of place, weighed down by choices he can't undo. A news segment plays on the cafe TV. Aaliyah's voice is clear. We all deserve dignity. Darren stares, unable to look away. The world outside the window moves on, people coming and going, their lives untouched by his regret. He pushes the coffee aside, the cup scraping softly on the table. The headlines scroll on, but for Darren, there's no turning the page. He sits alone, invisible, wondering if anyone will ever see him differently again. The store's windows gleam with new posters, Aaliyah's face bright, confident, and welcoming. Inside, the atmosphere has shifted. Staff greet every customer with genuine warmth, their smiles no longer forced. Kayla stands at the counter, her posture relaxed as she helps an elderly man with his purchase. The cashier from before offers a cheerful hello to a young black woman, her tone open and kind. Marcus arranges a display near the entrance, pausing to chat with a group of teens browsing the latest arrivals. The security guard, once rigid and watchful, now nods in greeting as customers enter, his stance casual, no longer shadowing anyone. A mother and daughter approach the register. The little girl points to Aaliyah's poster. Is that the girl from TV? She asks. Kayla smiles, leaning down. Yes, she is. She helped make this place better for everyone. The mother nods, gratitude in her eyes. The regional director stops by for a visit, observing the changes. She exchanges a few words with Kayla, satisfaction clear in her expression. You've all done well, she says quietly. The staff stand, a little taller, pride in their work replacing the old tension. Aaliyah enters, unnoticed at first. She watches from the side, seeing the easy interactions, the laughter, the sense of belonging that fills the space. The cashier spots her and waves, genuine happiness lighting her face. Welcome back, Aaliyah. Aaliyah smiles, feeling the difference in the air. The store isn't just brighter, it's safer, more open, alive with possibility. The staff move. With confidence, the customers linger, and the old unease is gone. As Aaliyah leaves, she glances back at her own image in the window. For the first time, she sees not just herself, but a reflection of change that's here to stay. Darren sits at his kitchen table, laptop open, the glow of the screen highlighting the lines on his face. He refreshes his inbox, watching another rejection email slide in. We appreciate your interest, but... The words blur together, each message a closed door. He scrolls through old contacts, hesitates, and closes the window without reaching out. He stands, pacing the small room, glancing out the window at neighbors passing by. Some nod politely, others cross the street, avoiding his gaze. He remembers when a phone call could open any opportunity, when his name carried weight. Now, every attempt at a new start is met with a polite refusal. The phone rings. It's a recruiter. Darren answers, hope flickering. The conversation is brief, the tone professional. We've reviewed your application. At this time, we're moving forward with other candidates. He thanks them, voice tight, and hangs up. The rejection stings, sharper for its familiarity. He Checks social media, scrolling past posts about the store's transformation. Kayla's update catches his eye. Proud of my team. Proud of our progress. Marcus shares a photo of the new staff training. Smiles all around. Darren types a comment, then deletes it, unable to find the right words. He sits back down, staring at the empty coffee mug beside his computer. The silence in the room is heavy, broken only by the distant sound of laughter from the street. He closes his laptop, rubbing his temples, the reality settling in. The privilege he once relied on is gone, replaced by uncertainty and regret. Outside, life moves forward without him. Inside, Darren faces the truth. Doors that once opened easily now remain shut, and no amount of old influence can change what's already been rewritten. Darren steps out onto the sidewalk, the morning sun bright but offering no warmth. He walks, past familiar houses, hands in his pockets, head lowered. Across the street, a neighbor he's known for years spots him, and, after a brief pause, crosses to the other side, pretending to check her phone. Darren slows, watching her go, the distance between them growing. He passes the park where he used to chat with other parents. Today the benches are full, but no one waves him over. Marcus jogs by with a friend, their laughter easy and unguarded. Marcus catches Darren's eye, nods politely, but doesn't stop. The message is clear. The circles Darren once moved in have closed. At the corner store, Kayla stands in line, chatting with the cashier. Darren hesitates at the door, then turns away, not wanting to risk an awkward encounter. He hears his name in a hushed conversation, the words indistinct, but the meaning unmistakable. Back home, the phone sits silent on the counter. The invitations that once filled his calendar are gone. He scrolls through old photos on his phone staff, parties, store openings, group shots where he always stood in the center. Now he feels like a stranger in his own community. He sits on the porch, watching the world move on. Children ride by on bikes, neighbors gather for coffee, former employees pass with confident strides. Darren is present, but no longer included. The isolation settles over him, heavy and inescapable, a daily reminder that respect, once lost, is not easily regained. The youth center buzzes with excitement as Aaliyah arrives, her presence drawing cheers from the kids gathered inside. She's greeted by Mrs. Carter, the director, who hugs her tightly. "You've made us all proud," she whispers. Aaliyah smiles, nerves and pride mingling as she surveys the room. Faces young and hopeful, eyes wide with admiration. A group of teens circles around, eager for her words. One boy asks, "How did you stay strong when they tried to shut you down?" Aaliyah takes a breath, choosing her words carefully. "I remembered who I was. I remembered who I wanted to be. You can't let someone else's doubt become your truth." A girl in the back raises her hand, voice trembling. "Did you ever feel alone?" Aaliyah nods, honest and gentle. "A lot. But every time I spoke up, I found out I wasn't the only one. Sometimes you have to go first, so others know they can too." Mrs. Carter gathers everyone closer. "Aaliyah showed us that dignity isn't something you're given, it's something you hold on to, even when it's hard." The room falls quiet, the message landing heavy and hopeful. Aaliyah kneels beside a group of younger kids drawing posters. "What are you making?" she asks. A boy grins, holding up a sign, "Dream big." She laughs, ruffling his hair. That's the best advice there is. As the event winds down, parents thank her, shaking her hand, some with tears in their eyes. The teens snap selfies, eager to capture the moment. Aaliyah stands by the door, waving goodbye as the last kids leave, her heart full. Walking home, she feels the weight of her journey, but also its lightness. Her story has become a spark, one that will keep burning long after she's gone. The mural stretches across the city wall, vibrant colors swirling into Aaliyah's likeness. Local artists and children gather, brushes in hand, laughter echoing as they fill in the final details. Aaliyah stands nearby, watching her story come to life in paint. Mrs. Carter snaps a photo, capturing the pride in every face. A group of teens steps back, admiring their work. One girl points to the bold letters beneath the portrait. Change starts here. Aaliyah smiles, her eyes shining. You all did this, she says softly. This belongs to everyone who believes things could be better. A young boy dabs blue onto the background, glancing up at Aaliyah. Will you sign it? He asks, holding out a marker. She kneels, adding her name in a corner, her hand steady. The kids cheer, some hugging her, others posing for pictures with the mural as their backdrop. Passers-by slow down, drawn by the explosion of color and the sense of hope radiating from the wall. A mother points out the mural to her daughter. That's the girl who stood up for herself, she explains. The little girl nods, eyes wide with wonder. Kayla and Marcus arrive, joining the celebration. Kayla hugs Aaliyah, whispering, You changed everything. Marcus grins, snapping a selfie with the group. The atmosphere is joyful, the past's heaviness replaced by possibility. As the sun sets, the mural glows in the fading light, a beacon for the neighborhood. Aaliyah stands quietly, taking it all in. The wall, once blank and ignored, now pulses with energy and pride. It's more than a painting. It's a promise that every story matters, and that change, once started, can't be erased. In a glass-walled boardroom downtown, executives gather around a long table, the mood unusually serious. The brand's CEO taps a stack of new training manuals, glancing at the diversity officer. We can't ignore this anymore, he says, voice low but decisive. The HR director nods, flipping through a folder filled with recent complaints and news clippings. Aaliyah's story is projected on the screen at the front of the room, her face, the mural. Headlines about the store's transformation. The legal advisor clears her throat. We're being watched. Our policies have to match our promises. The room falls quiet, the usual confidence replaced by a sense of reckoning. A regional manager speaks up. We're retraining every store. New hiring practices, new standards. We'll be accountable. Some executives shift in their seats, uneasy but accepting. The diversity officer adds, This isn't just about one location. It's about who we are as a company. Outside the boardroom, staff gather for their first anti-bias workshop. Kayla leads a discussion, sharing her experience. Marcus listens, nodding while new hires ask questions, eager to learn. The atmosphere is open, hopeful. Back inside, the CEO looks around the table. Aaliyah's story changed us. Let's make sure it changes more than just headlines. He signs off on the new initiatives. The decision unanimous. The meeting ends, but the conversation continues. Executives linger, discussing next steps, determined to follow through. The old way of doing things is over. In its place, a commitment to fairness, dignity, and real change. As the boardroom empties, the camera lingers on Aaliyah's image on the screen, a reminder that one voice, when finally heard, can echo through the highest halls of power. Aaliyah sits in a quiet studio, a microphone in front of her, the city's evening glow filtering through the window. The news anchor nods, inviting her to speak. She leans in, voice steady but gentle. Change doesn't roar, it whispers, then it rises. The words settle in the room, powerful in their simplicity. Families watch at home, some gathered around dinner tables, others pausing in living rooms. Parents glance at their children, seeing hope reflected back. Kayla and Marcus watch from the break room, pride shining in their eyes. The cashier from the store wipes away a tear, remembering the journey. The segment cuts to shots of the mural, the youth center, and the store's new team greeting customers. The anchor's voice overlays. Aaliyah Brooks's story sparked a movement, reminding us that justice can arrive quietly, but its impact is lasting. Aaliyah steps outside after the interview, greeted by a group of teens who ask for a photo. She laughs, posing with them, her presence calm and encouraging. One girl whispers, "You made us believe we matter." Aaliyah smiles, squeezing her hand. "You always did." Back at the store, the staff gather for a team meeting. The regional director thanks everyone for their courage and commitment. "We're not finished," she says, "but we're on the right path." The team nods, united. As night falls, the city feels changed. The mural glows under streetlights, a beacon for anyone who passes. Aaliyah walks home, head high, knowing her story is now part of something bigger. Justice didn't come with fanfare, but with steady, undeniable truth. The world keeps moving, but the echoes of her words linger, a quiet promise that real change endures.